Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and in this episode I talked to Adam Skelly from Adamson Barbecue in Toronto, Canada. Yes, Toronto, Canada. And after you listen to this interview, you'll totally understand why he has such an amazing barbecue joint in Toronto, Canada. It's a real deal, Central Texas style, an homage to Aaron Franklin and the others that he's visited. You're going to really love this. Adam is a cool guy. He talks about how he started everything off and how he was super shoestring, kind of just making it work and using it's. I don't want to tell you. You'll really enjoy it, but he's super forthcoming. He talks all about his passion for Texas barbecue, and then he takes us on a tour of his pits, all his different pits. Then he takes us a tour of his back room. The guy's prepping sauces. The guy, his pit master, is getting things set up for the day. He goes outside, talks to people online. Then he goes next door because they just opened up a pizza place. It's super killer. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you do like what you see, please subscribe. Please enjoy this. Thanks so much.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. So what does today look like for you?
What does today look like for me? To be honest with you, the last couple of weeks I haven't really been doing a lot of work around the barbecue restaurant. I had a baby boy almost 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So I had everything set up that I could take off a couple of weeks of work before he was born. So I come in, send a couple emails, do some administrative stuff, check in on the guys, make sure everything's running smoothly, put out any fires if there are any, and then I kind of get out of here. I'll probably be back in a more permanent mode in a week or two.
I gotcha. Wow. So how is he so far? Is it a lot of work or is he pretty easy?
Yeah, a lot harder than I expected. Everybody was telling me leading up to it how hard it was going to be having a kid, and the first couple of weeks are such a nightmare. I was like, nah, people have been doing this for millions of years. Like, it can't be a big issue at all. And yeah, it's pretty tough.
That's funny too. Is a lot of people too try to say that it's not a lot of work. There's certain people because they want you to be part of the baby club, and then so I guess there's both those sides of it. Well, hopefully you get some sleep.
Yeah, a couple hours a night. That's all I'm really asking for at this point. But yeah, it's super rewarding. It's awesome. No real complaints about it.
That's awesome. Does your wife work in the restaurant?
She did, and from the catering company that we started in 2013, she worked with me every day until I guess just when she was about 6 months pregnant. Okay. Then we laid her off, but she worked with me every day since then.
So what's your background? Were you in the restaurant business to begin with?
No, I worked in a restaurant once when I was 15 or 16 for about a month as a dishwasher, and then it was horrible, so I never did that again. Uh-huh. I worked in Whistler for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I did a lot of driving. I drove taxis and city buses and shuttles and stuff like that. When I moved back to Toronto to live with my girlfriend, actually, I worked in my father's business, which was unrelated. It was a plumbing wholesale company, and then kind of started getting into barbecue on the side.
Oh, excellent. And then did you make some trips to Texas? Is that kind of what sparked it, or were you getting into just cooking on your own?
Yeah, just cooking on my own, really. I had never been to the South or eaten barbecue at all. It was there's a couple guys at my dad's store where I worked that would come in on Mondays and they'd show me the pictures of the ribs that they smoked over the weekend. And I always thought, like, that doesn't look that good. These guys suck. I can do better. So I got a cold smoker attachment for my gas grill. And I would cook ribs on the weekend and kind of show off what I could do. And then I did, some ribs, and I think I did a pork shoulder, and I did a brisket. And my father used to have these contractor lunches for the customers at the store. So they'd come in and they'd flip frozen burgers. And I said one year, let me do it. I'll cook the pulled pork for it, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
And I did a little overnight cook. My gas grill caught on fire. I had to take all the butts off and wrap them in foil and finish them in my oven. And I brought them into work the next day and did a bunch of pulled pork sandwiches. And the guys loved it. It was like better than any of the lunches that they had before. So, and I think I ended up doing it for something like $250 a person. And I was looking online, like, man, there's guys who charge like, 15 or 18 bucks a head for this. I should start catering on the side. So I set up a little website, and I stole pictures from the Franklin Barbecue website of his brisket and his ribs and his pulled pork. And I put like, this is the food that I make.
Oh, that's so funny.
And I booked a couple catering jobs, and I got some deposits, and I went out and I put a deposit on a concession trailer to start the catering business with.
Wow, that's a huge leap. And then, but you were selling enough that you felt comfortable, right?
I hadn't sold any at that point.
Oh, you hadn't at all.
No, I was just pretending, and these were jobs that I think I started this in the fall, and these were weddings that I had booked for the following year. So I made them give me a couple $1,000 each as a deposit, and then I used that money to fund the company that didn't even really exist beyond a website.
Wow, that's
Yeah, it was you fake it till you make it.
oh yeah,
And,
yeah, for sure. But how did you? When did you get to the point where you actually? So when did the trailer open?
I got the trailer in 2013. We used it as a catering rig. We did, like maybe 10 or 15 catering jobs. Just kind of pulled it around to different people's birthday parties and stuff like that. And we were cooking just generic Southern style barbecue. So ribs with like all these, we'd be tinkering around with different sauces and rubs and making all sorts of flavored stuff. And it wasn't until probably 2014 that I really even realized what Texas barbecue was, as opposed to what I thought was Southern barbecue.
And what was that? Was that a trip?
No, this was just from stuff I'd seen online, really, and on like Barbecue Brethren and these different barbecue forums. I still hadn't really been to the States except for one trip to go and pick up the trailer, which we bought in Georgia.
Oh wow!
In Willacoochee, Georgia, we picked up a trailer from Freedom Trailers, and then we drove it back through Missouri and got a Cadillac Cookers, like a knockoff rotisserie smoker. We had to put on the back of it. And we ate at a couple kind of mediocre barbecue places along the way, and we started thinking like, oh, we know what we're doing because we've been to 4 different side of the road barbecue places.
Of course, yeah, that's how you figure it out. And then, when did you start cooking at the level that was at least close to what you're cooking now? Was there a turning point where you realized I could do this better? Or?
Yeah, that was after a trip to Texas. Okay. So we went late 2014. I went down to go to a cooking course in Houston, and I forget who it was by, but like 2 days before the trip, the guy died of a heart attack.
Oh no!
And the thing was canceled, and I forget his name. This is awful. But
I think I remember hearing something. I'm trying to think. I'll see if I can remember it.
Yeah. But the guy was like a competition guy. So, but I already had the trip booked. So we went down. It was being held at Gator Pits in Houston. So I just stopped in anyway to Gator Pits, and I met the owner. That was a pretty cool experience. We got to see all the different cookers.
That's really cool.
About offsets, and I was like, oh, this is really neat. And then we went to the Houston Barbecue Festival, and that's where it kind of all changed because we got to eat barbecue from all the best places. Kind of rubbing shoulders with a lot of the really great barbecue cooks. So we got to see what Texas barbecue was specifically. Then we went to Austin, and we went to Franklin's, and we went to Lab Barbecue, and we went to Micklethwaite, and we drove down to Lockhart, and we saw all the old school places, and we thought like this is really cool. Like this is what we have to hone in on. In Toronto, there's already a bunch of guys doing generic Southern barbecue. There's already maybe a dozen barbecue restaurants that were all doing, cooking on Southern prides and like using lots of sauce. And I thought like this is cool. Like this is a way to differentiate my business and do something that's really authentic and bring some of that kind of old timiness back to it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the Toronto barbecue scene. So that's what it was primarily that at that time was pretty saucy and pretty Southern stuff.
Exactly. And there's a lot of guys doing fusion, and they'll say like, oh, we make Texas brisket, and we make Kansas City style burnt ends, and we make Carolina style pulled pork, but they cook it all in the same smoker, all with the same sauces and seasonings. And they're like, oh yeah, we cook our brisket with mesquite, and then we cook our ribs with applewood. And it's like, you have one small smoker.
There's no way.
You're not like putting in different wood for all these different things. I thought it was just kind of corny. So instead of being like a jack of all trades, we decided to like really hone in and just do Texas style barbecue as well as we could.
Was this in 2015?
Yes, 2015 is when I started like labeling my catering company and food truck as Central Texas style barbecue.
Gotcha.
But to be honest, we're still selling French fries on our food truck. That was our best selling thing was French fries. But at the catering events, we were trying to just make really good brisket, ribs, turkey, and sausage. We started making our own sausage in 2016, so kind of elevating it a little bit, and then that was 2015. Then end of 2015, I book a catering job for 1,600 people for a big telecom company in Toronto, and I'm like, I can't cook 40 briskets on this crappy little thing that I have. So I'm trying to figure out like, what am I going to start cooking on? I didn't know how to weld, so I didn't build an offset, and I started looking around for an oiler. And there's one in Chicago for sale out of a restaurant. I think it's like a early 1980s Oiler, and I bought this really crappy landscape trailer, drove down to Chicago, had it craned onto the truck, brought it, had it installed into the restaurant. Literally the morning before this, the day before this catering event,
Oh, wow.
we wired it up. We're like crossing our fingers, like I hope the motor works on this. Turn it on. Sure enough, it goes. We load on all the briskets, and we cooked it for the catering event for the next day.
Oh my God! And how did you pulled it off?
Pulled it off. It's like it's been by the skin of our teeth like 3 or 4 times in this whole business growth, but it's worked.
Wow, that's so crazy.
We put it into this big warehouse where our restaurant is now, and we kind of intended originally on just having this as our catering kitchen, but we thought, okay, let's give it a shot and put in a lunch counter and see if we can get people to come for lunch to eat barbecue in an industrial park. Nobody's done that in Toronto for any type of restaurant, so we were nervous. We were planning out different types of menus that we would put on in the fall and winter because we thought nobody's going to come and eat barbecue. Like we got to be selling chili and sandwiches. But it was like the day we opened, I had gone through a big line of credit, all the money I had made for the last 3 years, maxed out all the credit cards. I think I had like $17 in my bank account.
Whoa.
The day we opened. All the meat was on account at different suppliers that I got terms on. I had one full-time employee, and I was like, if this doesn't work, I can't even pay him. So just by the skin of our teeth, we got the doors open, and it took off. It blew up. People started lining up almost immediately.
Wait, so how did you get the word of mouth around? Did you just had people been having your catering and they knew about this, or was it how did that work out?
Our social media was like kind of strong already. We had a decent following on Instagram. So when we said we're opening a restaurant, and I had already connected with a bunch of guys in the States, and it had kind of taken off. Like I think we're at 10,000 followers or something like that on Instagram, and that helped drive a lot of traffic into the restaurant. The first couple of weeks they weren't crazy busy, but it grew pretty organically from that point. And then we were, I think 2 months after we opened, we were on the front page of the Toronto Star. That's huge. Or the Globe and Mail, which is a big international newspaper up here. That was huge. That immediately it doubled our sales. And then we were on the front page of the Toronto Star a little while after that. Okay. We had a big piece, like the whole cover of the food section was a photo of me and my girlfriend, which is really cool. Then we started getting picked up all the local magazines. There's a good little food culture in Toronto, and it just spread very, very quickly in an organic way.
Yeah, because every time I read about you guys, I always talk about the location. They say that it's like a funky location, a place that kind of out of the way.
Yeah, for sure. We're kind of close to a couple residential neighborhoods, but it's a big industrial park. Like I'm in my office now.
Okay, cool.
I'll just show you out my window. Can you see that? That's my back area, and that's like a plumbing wholesaler.
Oh, that's cool.
That's all like their pipe yards and there's pallets. And if we went over to the other side of my building, it's just all industrial. There's a bunch of manufacturing around here.
Wow, that's actually kind of perfect because there's all those guys too. Are they all your customers too?
They were at the beginning. We were like a real blue collar place where a lot of the local workers would come for lunch. But then the lineups got too big, so they for a while you couldn't come on an hour lunch break. You couldn't come, wait in line, get your food, eat, and get back to work on time. It's slowed down now. Just September, October is a pretty slow time, so some of them are coming back. But honestly, I'd say like at least 75% of our traffic is people coming in from out of the area.
Really, and people like me, or people that are hearing about it even from the United States.
Yeah, for sure. We have people coming in. Like a couple months ago, we had people with suitcases. I'm like, where do you guys come from? They said, oh, we got off our plane at the airport, and we just took a cab straight here from the airport. They were from Australia.
Oh, that's really cool.
Like, one of our videos of, I think I was cutting brisket or beef ribs or something, was shared on Facebook, and it got 40 million views or something.
What the?
And it just, I don't know. It took off. And then people from all around the world come in. We've had people from Sweden and from Germany and tons of people from South America. Yeah,
that's amazing. It just shows the power of barbecue. It shows up, especially Texas barbecue. It's remarkable that many people love barbecue.
I think in other cultures too, like maybe they cook in a more simple way. Like the guys who come up here from Argentina, like they're cooking with wood and like leaning sides of beef up against some rebar, and they can kind of appreciate this. This is like the same thing that we do, just in a bit of a different way. It's
kind of primal. It's more primal, and it's more. It's not just like Southern food. It's actually straight up barbecue. So what are you guys cooking nowadays?
What are we cooking?
Yeah, what's on your menu?
We got brisket, ribs, turkey, pulled pork, a couple types of sausage. Fridays and Saturdays we do beef ribs. We make chicken too. We used to do that one day a week now. We make chicken every day. We've never made money on chicken even once in here because I think we sell like six half chickens a day on our busiest day, and then I think we're making 3 on Tuesdays because nobody will buy it. But it's really good, our chicken, so we keep it on the menu.
Okay, I was going to ask you why do you keep it on your menu? Because it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good, and some people love it, but it's hard to get people to buy chicken here.
And how long are people waiting in line? Generally,
I mean, on a Saturday, a lineup will be like at the busiest, like an hour.
Okay.
On a weekday, right now, like no line, like 5 minutes. But in the summertime, it would have been like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays would have been between, I don't know, 10 and 25 minutes, something like that.
And how big is your location? Like you said, it's in a warehouse. So how many is it? How much seating is there?
We've got inside and outside.
Yeah.
We've got 108 seats.
Oh wow, that's a good.
108. Like true good seating inside the restaurant is about 60.
Okay.
Right now, like the patio's closed. It's cold here.
Wow, that's so crazy. That's such an amazing story. That gets like you barely made it. Like it was kind of hit or miss, and now you're like it's like how do you feel now after all that?
Oh, it's amazing. It's super satisfying. We've gone from one full-time employee to now between both my businesses in the building. We opened up a pizza restaurant on the other side of the building.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think there's like my last payroll. We have 18 staff. Like that's so crazy to me that in a couple of years we've come to that point. We have a place where the guys love working here. It's super conducive to just like positivity, and there's like really good energy with all the guys in here, and everybody loves what they're doing. That for me is the best satisfaction, that we have like a really solid crew and we've built a great place for people to work.
Are you adding any brisket to the pizza? Oh yeah.
Oh.
How are you doing? See, that doesn't happen often. Most people got a stoic, like they don't. It just shows right there that's the epitome of who you are and who your restaurant is. Are you adding? Do you have brisket on the pizza?
Yeah, I didn't want to put brisket on the pizza, but everybody was like, "Oh, where's the brisket pizza?" Because it's like they want to come at night. We only open for lunch, so that's like I think our third best selling pizza is the brisket pizza. It's got like pickled jalapenos on it and some barbecue sauce. And I people come in and that's like the first thing they want to try. I'm like, nah, try something different. Like we've got really good creative pizzas on the menu. They're like, nah, I need to have the brisket. It's like, all right.
So that's open for dinner?
Yeah, we run the pizza place Thursday to Sunday night for dinner. So that was basically, we had like my warehouse here. It's 6,000 square feet, and about a third of it we didn't really have a use for. We were just using it for storage, and we're like, okay, we got to find a way to monetize this space. And the guy who was cooking my sides at the time, we were kind of bouncing some ideas around. We thought, like, okay, why don't we try doing pizza in here? And it basically said, all right, here's the reins, like go for it, figure out how to make dough and sauce and figure out how to cook pizza. And he just took it and ran with it. And he's come up with like a really clever creative menu, and we were making some pretty awesome pizzas in there. It's really interesting, and it still hasn't really taken off. It's not really making any money. We're probably like just scraping by, breaking even, but it's a lot of fun. And it's a cool project, and it's helping pay some of the rent of the building.
Yeah, and it's cool, and who knows? Just like the barbecue, it'll probably take off too.
Yeah, I think it will eventually. I'm pretty lazy with it. I haven't started doing delivery yet. I think when we start doing delivery, it'll get busy. So we make people drive out to like our weird warehouse to pick up a pizza. It's kind of weird.
So what time? So you guys cooking? You guys aren't cooking with an offset smoker. It's with that smoker that you got in Chicago, right? Or is that sort of an offset almost?
Offset too. Yeah.
Oh, you do have an offset as well?
Yeah, it's right outside. You want to go see it?
Yeah, for sure.
I got a door from my office out to the pits.
Oh man.
Okay, so.
Thank you for this. It's so funny. You can see your keyboard. It's like.
So I got 2,000 gallons. Can you see that there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we got the one. Let's see if I can angle this laptop.
Yeah.
So we got that one. We do all the ribs and the turkey on. These are already done for the day. And then the second one. And then we kind of have this thing as a joke.
Oh yeah.
Snap meals on and stuff. We got. Let's see. We cook our chicken on these. I had my brother-in-law build me a couple of these ones. We were trying to sell them, and nobody bought them, so that's what we cook our chicken on. And then that's the big oiler.
Oh, that's the oiler, okay.
Yeah, that's attached to the building. So we operate that from inside, and this has got...
What are you cooking in there?
They're probably just finishing sausage on that right now.
Gotcha. That's what I was going to say, cooking sausage in there.
Yeah, the briskets came off probably 4 in the morning. And then we just built this thing, too, which is pretty sweet. We did one of my cooks, I just gave him the restaurant last Sunday, and he cooked a pig on it.
I was gonna ask, whole hog.
We did a whole hog pop up. It was kind of cool.
That is, I am so impressed, Adam. That is such a cool operation you have there.
Yeah, and then there's now we're inside, and that's the oiler, which, yeah, it's just got the sausages finishing up.
Thank you for this. This is, what an awesome tour you're giving me. I didn't expect this. Nice.
Yeah, you get the full restaurant tour. This is so that's the pit room. We make sausage in here. We got the stuffer.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Probably never even got a chance to start.
this is the kitchen. That's Tom. What are you making? What are you making, Tom?
Rib glaze.
Rib glaze.
Nice.
Yeah. Whoa. There's Max. He washes dishes among other things. And Joey, he's the chef de cuisine. Makes
Nice.
all our sides. It's Matt, another cook. And then this is our dining room.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of space. It's decent.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then counter. We'll be opening up in just a couple minutes here. We'll be going live.
Oh, you have a counter too. Okay, cool. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's all counter service. This is our inspiration wall here. So we got photos of all my favorite places in Texas. So we got Louis Miller's, and we got Esau here from 2M, and Snow's, and whatever, a bunch of other places.
that is.
And that's Matt. He actually showed me your episode about where you were talking to Daniel Vaughn. And he's
really?
like, oh, you got to check it out. Daniel Vaughn mentioned us in it. And yeah, I looked through, and he gave us I think you kind of prompted it. And he's like, oh yeah, and Adamson's in Toronto. I got to check it out. So Matt was an art history major. And he walked in the door one day, and he goes oh, can I see the pits? And I kind of took him around, and he knows everything about Texas barbecue. He's talking about all the different places and the pit masters and who works at each one. I'm like, who is this guy? And he asked me for a job, and I gave him our first overnight cook position. And he took our brisket, he made it a lot better from what we were doing. And he watches all the videos, and he really follows the whole scene. He's never been to Texas. It's
That is awesome. He needs to go to Texas.
Texas a long time ago. But it's crazy. The guys that we have here are all just super passionate about it, and it doesn't really make sense to me considering these guys aren't Texans, and why should they love this? But hey, they do.
But it shows, and this is actually this is good for other people that dig Texas barbecue, but they don't have the belief that they could do it. But anybody can anywhere.
Oh, here, check this out. We got a couple people here.
Okay.
You guys, I'm having an interview right now with this barbecue blogger guy from Texas. I'm just showing him the little bit of a lineup we got this morning.
Nice.
We'll be just a couple more.
It's super cool.
There you go. Yeah, you can see them all. Whatever.
So that's on the lens. So
we got people out there. It's pretty good.
yeah.
And then this is our pizza restaurant over on this side of the building.
And you use the butcher paper, I see, here too.
What's that?
You use the butcher paper there too.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, menus are expensive.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And this is Danielle. She's our baker.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So Danielle bakes all of our bread and buns and desserts and everything.
So everything's scratch made.
Yeah, exactly. We make everything in here. The only thing we don't make is the pickles.
What types of sausage do you have?
Sausage. We do I kind of do a copycat Franklin sausage, like a bratwurst. It's not nearly as good, but I really like his sausage there. And then we make a jalapeno cheddar every day with cheese curds, which is really tasty. And the guys kind of, when they have extra time, they'll whip up some other things too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of once a week they'll do a different special.
That's killer. That's awesome. So what else should we know? I was going to say what else should we know about Adamson, but essentially you've given me a full tour.
It's kind of cool for people to see, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think people will love that. I think that people will love that more than almost anything, because a lot of people don't get a chance to go up to Toronto, and now they want to. Now I do. I want to go up there next week.
Yeah, come on, come try it out.
I'll wait a couple weeks.
It's just an inferior version of Franklin barbecue, but much shorter lines.
I think you're doing a good job. No, I've heard amazing things, and thank you again for taking the time. I know you have a busy schedule, especially with a newborn, so I do appreciate it, and I'm glad we finally connected.
No problem. And I just got to give a big shout out to Aaron Franklin, who I haven't met yet, but he paved the way for guys like me who are he wrote the book on it. Showed us, basically gave the template on how to run this, and it's allowed me to be a small little success over here and run a business and employ a bunch of great people and put together this whole thing basically because I read his books. So
Wow.
big shit here, Frank.
Excellent. I'll send this over to him too, so that way he could see that, like with that little area tagged in the end.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, have a great day. Thank you. You're a great guy, and I truly appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Nice to meet you.
Thanks. That's nice to meet you.